fucking go? I asked y'all a question! As I reveal my giant's monkey! That's not as funny as you thought it was, boy!
God, I thought he meant penis!
I swear, the only thing I hate more than weaklings... Hey! I'm speaking, soldier! Don't fucking speak unless you're smoking fucking dirt! What we're gonna do is we're gonna fly
The talk show at the end of the week.
Space is big.
Star Citizen Base.
It's really big.
Roundtable.
And hello, everybody. Welcome. Oh, there we go. To the Star Citizen Base Roundtable here every Sunday on the Base Radio. Thank you, Steph Master, for handing me the airwaves. It's yeah. That was just.
We are professional.
You see,
I completely forgot what we were doing. But is this a talk about flower arranging?
no, I actually.
I brought my vase. What?
But for Steph, I think he was just having so much fun. I was listening to it. It was just so damn dry and bad jokes. It was just, you were doing so good. You were like, oh God, Star Citizen Base Roundtable starts. What? Wait. Huh?
Don't ever let it end.
But yeah, no.
That's what happens when you like what you.
I don't care. It was.
I heard him
This
tell
one.
the joke that diarrhea was hereditary, right? Because it runs in your genes.
I should grab my. This is gonna be that kind of show. I should grab my soundboard.
Your soundboard.
Wait.
Yeah.
We may have offended some Oompa Loompas somewhere.
Didn't we? So, welcome to the Star Citizen Base Roundtable here on the Base Radio. Where you can listen every Sunday here. Where we, you've seen the little text that was on the screen earlier, but lately we don't really do much of that anymore. We just bullshit around. But it's supposed to be about Star Citizen. And whatever happened in the week.
That's a game, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's what I heard. And of course we can activate the questions where we can, if you submit them, we gather them, or the bot gathers them, and everything goes automatically. But we don't answer them right away. We just gather them, and then at the end of the show, last half hour, we go through all of them at once. So if you have anything like interesting about Star Citizen, just ask us. So let me introduce ourselves. Well, I think most of you know me, or us. I'm Rellim. Here, there's Gentile. Hello, me. And back from wherever he came from, Pegasus. Pony. Pegasus. There we go. And we have a special guest today.
He escaped.
We have a special guest.
Oh, it's me. Yes, I'm the Uber nerd. I am a complete nutcase. I sometimes say something quite intelligent, and then they cut me off because it's like, nope, you've had enough to drink. So, hi.
Hi. What's up?
Nice to meet you guys.
Same.
It's interesting.
Is it interesting?
It is. So we're going to follow our typical format, I suppose we would say, for the show. And this first segment is going to be all about Uber Nerd. So, he's a complete nutcase. We got that. But the real question is, why are you here? What's going on?
Why is anybody here? I mean, come on.
That is
long,
very philosophical.
That's right. Nietzsche was quoted as saying, "God is dead," and then stuff happened. Freud was obsessed with his mom, and here we are. It's really quite self-explanatory. I'm not quite sure, but I'm here because I love Star Citizen. I'm a complete, almost only Star Citizen player when it comes to streaming, and I stopped drinking and smoking so that I could focus on another bad habit, buying pledges for Star Citizen. So
this
it's
week,
healthier, kind of. Physically, it might be healthier. Financially, it might not be so healthy.
Well, I added it up. My partying days, I actually spent more in a single year on booze and cigarettes than I ever spent on Star Citizen in the 3.5 years that I've been spending money. So
Chris Roberts literally saved your life.
I know, right? I can say
crazy.
that my life has changed. Actually, I stopped drinking and smoking a long time ago, but I don't go to other vices, because I don't have enough money to.
That's one good thing about Star Citizen is if you have a drug addiction, just get into Star Citizen and it will suck all your money, so there will be no money for drugs. So then you can just forcefully purge yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. See?
You're like, I'm willing to go through the
Rellim,
DTs for that ship.
For the ship, yes. Crazy stuff. So you stream on Twitch
almost
or
daily.
YouTube?
Twitch.
Because nobody likes YouTube anymore because they're a bunch of demonetizing bastards.
That's right. Those bastards. But I stream daily on Twitch. Normally
every day.
Yep. 4 a.m.
Weekends too?
Yep. I was streaming today.
4 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, I wake up at about 3:30 a.m. and start streaming at about 4. Sometimes 4:30. But
and you work a real job?
And I work a real job.
Oh my God.
But I go to bed at the same time my kid goes to bed. So I'm a dad of an 11-year-old kid. She's got school, so she goes to bed at about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and so do I. So I wake up and just naturally too. If I go to bed at 7:30, I am up at 3:30 with no choice in the matter. I'm up before my alarm. So.
And then you just jump right on and start streaming Star Citizen, hair standing up and the whole bit.
Yep, just looking like a complete crazy old curmudgeon.
Wow.
You kids, get off my spaceship! Yeah, that kind of stuff. So, but it's good. It's a lot of fun, and the streaming is just because it's it's a thing to do, and it's where I'd like to be, not full-time jobbing it in the daytime, but instead of full-time streaming it. So eventually, maybe someday. That's the dream, right?
I suppose. If Star Citizen ever really goes mainstream like that, do you wonder if the quote-unquote big streamers, whoever the fuck they are, because I'm not really into watching people with 10,000 people in their damn Twitch channel play CSGO or some bullshit.
Yeah.
If they ever latch on to Star Citizen.
I would be more into esports that way.
Yeah, I think that some of them will, but they won't latch onto it the way that people like me or WTFosaurus or Matachi or other really dedicated Star Citizen streamers. We're pretty much just Star Citizen and not a lot of variety. And those big streamers are a lot of variety. They'll play a whole, they have one game they'll play per week, and then they'll play 7 days a week. Some of them will play 5 days a week, but some of them will play 7. And they'll do 2 to 4 hours a day, and they'll have a different game every day. And I don't do that. I mean, I tried playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, didn't like it, so I got a refund.
Is it just me, or is the combat control really clunky?
Well, it's all clunky, and there's a lot of bugs in Kingdom Come Deliverance. A lot of bugs. I couldn't get the horse to always gallop. And so and even when I did, the horse would run out of steam before I made it to the safe space. I didn't even get out of the dang what do you call it? The prologue or whatever it is. I'm murdered every single time. So I was like, oh, you know what? I just don't have that time for that kind of frustration. So I got a refund and said, just go back to Star Citizen and enjoy myself there.
I don't think it's actually something that you can stream very well because
the cutscenes, way too many cutscenes. Yeah, it is pretty boring.
For viewers to look at, maybe, but at least it is still an engaging story. And I mean, if it tweaks here and there, some bug fixes, I think would make it really good game.
Yeah, maybe. I think they do need to do a lot of bug fixes on it before it's going to be, smoothly playable. So, and they're selling it as a live release type game, and I think it's more of a beta.
Beta, which it was a beta.
They should have.
So I don't know what they actually fixed in beta.
I didn't play beta, so I wouldn't be able to say one way or the other.
It's okay anymore for these companies, and it doesn't matter. Warhorse isn't a huge studio, but it's okay for these companies now to just call garbage a live release. I mean, look at Mass Effect Andromeda. It was completely fucked.
Yep.
It wasn't completely fucked, I guess, but it was pretty fucked up.
But this was only a small studio, right? Warhorse?
Yeah,
right.
Mass
Warhorse
Effect
is small.
Andromeda was a horrible experience until they patched it, but the bad taste in the mouth was already there, and they didn't patch it fast enough, and they shouldn't have released it in the state that it was in. And so that was and I tried giving Mass Effect Andromeda the benefit of the doubt, and I played it.
What do they say? You only have one chance to make a first impression, and usually that first impression sticks. Which is unfortunate as it relates to Star Citizen, because sometimes these new people are coming in and they're not getting the experience that they thought they were going to get. Yep. So maybe they'll come back in 2 years.
Well, the thing about that, if they don't ask for a refund, the people who are coming in and maybe like, it's not for me yet, but that anticipation for what it might be in 2 years keeps them from asking for a refund. And honestly, I get a lot of people in my chat asking me, so is this game ready? Is it out yet? And I'm like, it's not out. It's an alpha. You can play it if you want, but you'll have to understand that it's mostly a sandbox. Like, if you can't figure out fun things to do all on your own, then you might not have fun in the game.
Yeah, well, we've been saying that for a long time. If you need your hand held through a story or direction, at least, it isn't there yet.
Unlike, so somebody was saying that, that Kingdom Come Deliverance doesn't hold your hand. I said, yeah, and it doesn't tell you how to do things either. There's no lessons on how to ride a horse. They just ride this horse really fast or die. And it's like, there's no way to get past that point. It's not like you
tips.
What's that?
There's just like in Star Citizen now has these short tips on screen. Like, this is how you gallop. This is how you do that. But the rest
but
is
you're not being
much
chased down by a bunch of bloodthirsty pirates who will kill you every time and then reset you back, right? That was the thing about the Kingdom Come Deliverance. A lot of people, it's where you get put back to when you die. It's not necessarily, it's like you're not going past a certain point and going, okay, I've gotten past this certain point. It's got to save. I can do a couple saves in a row. It's like, But anywho, the Star Citizen in itself and the way that it is growing, I like a lot. I mean, I have gone for an 8-hour drive on Yella. I landed at, where was it? I think it was ArcCorp 140, or the ArcCorp landing zone 141 on Yella, which is the closest place that you can summon an Ursa rover to the pole. And I drove from there to the pole. And why I like driving to the poles is because it's always twilight. The sun never set. And you can see, right? So and the lights on they gotta fix the lights on the vehicles, but that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be driving across the surface of a moon. And I only drove, God, what was it? About 280 kilometers, and it took me 8 hours because it was so hilly and rocky. But it was so much fun. And I had my viewers joining me. People were flying over me in ships, lighting my way at night with their headlights. So, it was a lot of fun.
Well, that's probably what made it more fun for you than the average person, is because you have a group of people that are participating on your little adventure that you created for yourself.
Right. And it's a sandboxy adventure. There was no mission drive from here to there, right? It was all, and it would be cool if they could in the future set up missions where it's a driving mission. especially
8-hour driving mission.
maybe not 8 hours, but there's another base on Daymar where there is a emergency outpost that is 38 kilometers from the landing zone, right? I think it's the Shubin mining landing zone on Daymar, and then there is a Eager Flats rescue shelter. Anyways, it is about 38 kilometers away. Now that would be a cool mission to say, hey, you got to replenish that, and there's a storm. They could put a permanent.
So you can't fly.
Right, exactly. There's a storm. There's no way you're going to fly in there because everybody who tries to fly in there gets wrecked, but they need some emergency supplies. You need to take the Ursa rover. That would be an awesome mission.
Well, sure, and that's an easy possibility as well. Yeah. If you watched what the hell was it, like CitizenCon from a couple years ago when he couldn't fly his Constellation towards the wreck that he was looking for because whatever. But you make it up. Sandstorms coming,
electrical storm,
some sort of interference,
right? Some sort of magnetic electrical storm that's a permanent feature, rather. Because how do you explain a permanent storm in an area or one that lasts for months at a time?
Sure.
You can say, the
electromagnetic anomalies.
Exactly. An electromagnetic anomaly is causing an atmospheric disturbance that is staying in this one place for a long period. They need supplies here. Go take this box of supplies or these boxes of supplies from here in your Ursa rover or something like that. Now that would be a really cool mission that they could do really simply without having to, expand into Hurston and ArcCorp, although I can't wait for them to get those into the game.
Oh, for sure. I think one of the funny things is people don't have a vivid imagination to see what can be done with what has been created so far. And I really think that over the next couple of years, the gameplay, the missions, the environments are going to change in such a way that it's going to be over the top crazy. It's just going to be so engaging, but you don't see it right now. So if you don't have any idea first of where they're going with the game or any idea that the people that are actually building this game are smart fucking people, then you're going to be kind of disenfranchised a little bit to say, oh, there's nothing to do. There's never going to be anything to do. What are we going to do? Oh, yeah, they're going to make more pirate missions, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't think so.
Well, they're giving us in 3.1, we're getting the first iteration of us being able to kind of make contracts, I think.
Oh, yeah, the player service beacon thingy?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and as that builds, as the player service beacon builds and we're able to exchange money with each other, the jobs are, whatever you want the job to be. It doesn't even, if you can set up a service contract and they limit you to the wording you can put in there, you can still tell the dude that you're giving the contract to, oh, I want it to be this, we can set up hits on each other even before they put that mechanic in, as long as, there's a way to confirm it, which screenshot,
right.
But seriously, though, it's this kind of thing that as you give us the tools, you don't even have to give us the missions, the bespoke kind of made a theme park, right? We don't need a theme park. Give us the tools and we will create hundreds, if not thousands of missions. We already do that.
Yeah, but that's going to require a couple of other things to happen, like server meshing and getting, I don't know. The ultimate goal is obviously to get every player in a single server and then have that server broken down into a bunch of different micro servers that are all meshed together so it's seamless. So it's not like you're in Al-Asar and I'm in Al-Asar, but we can't see each other. It can't be that way in the future. So once it gets to that point, this shit's going to go nuts.
Right. Server meshing is coming in at the end of this year, at least the initial stage of it, right? This patch that's coming up, 3.1, at the end of March, we're going to get in with that. Oh, crap. Now I'm forgetting the terminology that they have for bind culling, right? So they're going to bring bind culling in with this patch that's coming up.
God, I hope so.
And then
what's that?
That's where you don't have to receive every bit of data that's happening across the server. You only receive data and transmit data to and from the server that's relative to your geographic location and what you can see. So that's going to increase it should theoretically increase your FPS from somewhere between, let's say, 1 and 30, which I generally experience, to hopefully 60 stable. And they could even cap it at 60. That's fine. It doesn't matter. But as long as it's stable somewhere in between the 40 to 60 range, the game actually plays really good at 25, which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it does play really nicely at about 25 to 30, which is what I normally get. I am in the 25 to 30 almost constantly. If there's less than 20 people in the server that I'm on, I will get somewhere between 30 and 50 frames per second. So, I mean, right now it's good. But with these new, I mean, it's not as good as we want it to be, but it's not so horrible that it's unplayable. And with bind culling coming in, and then with the object container system coming in, and with the object container streaming, which I think when they say the object container, I think that's exactly what they mean. Right now, the object container streaming only really applies to the insides of your ships, and even then it is still, once you get in there, you get into the ship, and then you leave that ship and you're on Daymar and that ship is on Levski, your computer still
tracking the data.
You're still tracking it, right? So but the bind culling combined with the object container streaming combined with the server meshing all together, these are going to really improve the performance because of what your computer has to track. But not only that, they have this new network code that basically what they were talking about is, and they explained it before, where instead of taking whole chunks of network code where one item in that chunk changed, they'll take that
serialized variables.
Serialized variables, that's it right there. So serialized variables is honestly going to change the way that everything works in this game in terms of, because and if they can get that right, that's the thing. It's a really complex set of variables, but if they get that right, combined with bind culling, combined with object container streaming, you will be able to have capital ship battles and hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the same area, because if they do it correctly, the system should spool up servers as needed to handle different ships, different areas, different object containers. And if you come to a planet and you're the only one there, the object container, it should be split into 4 object containers possibly. But if you come to a planet and it is full of other players and NPCs, and so it'll be thousands of object containers.
Yes.
So
theoretically, that's the idea anyway.
Yeah. And that's what they're shooting for. That's a very complex set of codes and coding that has to happen. But I don't have any doubt that they'll be able to do it. It's just the amount of time that it would take to get it. I don't know. I can't say how long that will take, but I think a lot of people, especially a lot of the people who are like us and others in the community, were relatively patient when it comes to waiting for them to give us these things. I mean, there was a lot of people out there saying, 3.0, it's going to change everything. People are going to flood in. People are going to love it. Well, that kind of didn't happen, but I love it. I'm out there traversing the moons all the time. But it didn't change everything in the sense of it's still what it was in 2.6.3, but with planetary moon landings. You can get on the surface of the moon. You can drive vehicles. There's a lot of extra space that you can explore, but it's still that same kind of, it's not finished, and you can feel it when you get in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And I think that a lot of people, even in our community, thought that 3.0 was going to be some kind of god patch, and there was just going to be an ungodly amount of things to do, and you would be able to actually play a close to finished product, but it's not. And they said it wasn't going to be. So
The thing is, though, if you are really good at sandbox style play, then there are literally hundreds and thousands of different things you can do.
Sure.
You just have to have a bunch of people who are like-minded who can play with you.
Yeah, think of their own stuff. That's what we used to do with the game days.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. You can find all different kinds of things to do. And you saw people having races in their Ursa Rovers, races in their Grey Cats. I mean, this stuff is there. Now, I think if the one thing that I think that CIG should listen to us and do is give us our own mobile spawn point, like the Cutlass Red, that you could go into if you get on the Cutlass Red, you click on a bed and choose spawn point, and then you take maybe 2 loads of players out on 2 Cutlass Reds, land at a different side of a crater. Everybody chooses a bed to be their spawn point, and then you go out there and you have your own version of Star Marine.
Sure,
fighting each other, killing each other, respawning in the Cutlass Red, and then getting back out there in the battle. Because you could choose any place that you want out there and have these pitched battles out wherever.
But eventually, isn't that part of the plan? Like hospital ships to be mobile respawn points?
Well, yes, but the hospital ship mobile respawn point, as far as I know, is way off in the future. And at least, I mean, I don't know how soon we are expecting the Cutlass Red, because they haven't put it on the schedule yet. It was supposed to come last year, but it did get pushed out for some other ships to get really pushed through. Plus, they did kind of change the ship pipeline by adding in the final damage state. Right?
Sure, with their UV shaders. Yeah.
Right. So they did change the pipeline, so they had to go back and finish up a lot of the old ships that didn't have the new damage state on them, right?
So it's about that time. We'll take a break, and when we come back, keep that thought, because that's exactly where I'd like to take this conversation, is into ships in the ship pipeline and different ships that were announced and blah, blah, blah. And it might turn into a semi-salt block, because I saw a lot of butthurt over it, but can we do that?
Hey, we can do that. I have bacon on my channel, so salt is all I need to make more bacon.
Sure. And we got to figure out how to engage Pegasus down there. I'm not sure.
What?
Exactly.
Okay. Right. Okay. So music break it is.
Well, now that Rellim's done eating too, so that helps things.
I don't really need to say anything else. Let's go. Hard drive spin up, hard drive spin up, hard drive spin up. And go.
Nope.
Hello.
Can't talk about any of that either, because it's Lando jingle.
Wow.
Yeah, we have Lando jingles. He's made them for us.
Oh my god.
He thought we were cool at one point, and then I started talking.
Then he joined
and
CIG.
now he doesn't. Yeah. Maybe. And I don't always talk 100% positive about CIG.
Exactly.
I always talk 100% positive about Star Citizen, but just not CIG sometimes.
Hey, if people can't take criticism, I mean, come on. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
Well, except for me, but that's aside from the fact.
So welcome to the second block of the roundtable here. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So you're here. You can ask questions. Put Q in square brackets or question. You can use either. You can even use ask square brackets, and then follow that up by the question that you want to ask. That'll be submitted. The bot will catch it, and we can go over it at the end of the show, like the last half hour. That's how that works.
You see how smart our technology department is at the base, that they made it so simple for you. I mean, so simple that you can't get
I've seen
bracket Q bracket wrong.
I've seen certain streamers do it with I think even Relay does it like that with Google Forms. You have to click on a link and you have to fill out the form to submit your question with your name on it. It's so much work, dude.
They are not professional.
They're so lazy.
They don't have the mystical Pegasus
They don't have a
winged
pony.
technology pony to work this crap that shouldn't really work in the real world, but for some reason it works in his world. It's very strange.
Anyway, welcome back.
All right, so now my coffee's done. So we were talking. Well, I had to get water because I can only drink so much coffee. It's a true story.
Yeah.
I'll start
I
getting
believe it.
shaky. It throws off my aim in Star Marine.
Can't have that. All right, so ship
Is that
pipeline.
even a thing anymore? Oh yeah, ship pipeline. So, I thought one of the most interesting bits of news for the week was that this the way that they phrased
New ship.
the role of the new ship as a quote unquote starter trade ship of some kind. Yeah, but they used the word starter. And like the Discords everywhere fucking shit the bed. Like literally shit the bed because the word starter was in there. Trying to somehow tie that in with the starter ship for a new backer, which isn't necessarily the same thing.
They should have just said like low end trader support
starter
ship.
is
Starter's the proper word.
Because it's the start of those
in that
roles,
field of role,
right?
yeah,
those jobs,
yeah.
And it may not be that you can start off those jobs in a $60 ship or in a $45 ship. There's probably not going to ever be a repair ship that is $45. There's never going to be a refueling ship that's $45. I mean, you're going to start off in a basic. It's like saying, what is a starter dump truck like? It's not going to cost the same as a Kia, right? I mean,
well, technically, like the Prospector is the starter mining ship, but when they sold the Prospector, they did not use the term starter trade ship, mining ship, whatever, right? The Freelancer technically is the starter. Well, I guess there's smaller cargo variants, but for specialized roles.
The Freelancer is a distance, is what I guess you would say would be the first long distance, because it has better fuel tanks. It's got better range than even the Cutlass Black, right?
I love my Freelancer. She's got
it's a beautiful ship.
Nice big fat ass. Love it.
It's a beautiful ship.
Wait for the Max. It's going to be even cooler.
Oh, right.
I like that one.
I can't wait till they give us more access to the interiors of those ships, like the toilet and shower. Come on, they got to reopen that back up. And then the kitchenette.
The kitchen?
There's another point that was brought up, I think, in Reverse the Verse this week, where they were talking about having to use the toilet and the shower.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that was Reverse the Verse this week. And there's been an ongoing debate about Star Citizen becoming more of like a second life in space, and people don't feel like they should have to eat. They don't feel like they should have to take a shower. That's not why they're playing a game, blah, blah, blah.
They said that you won't die if you don't eat, and you won't, and you don't have to take a shower. However, there will be missions you can't do if you don't do both, right? If you don't eat, you may be a little shaky when you're trying to aim your gun, right? If you eat, your aim is going to be steady. If you don't shower, there will be a heck of a lot of NPCs who will not talk to you. So you will not get the missions.
It's kind of like Kingdom Come Deliverance.
It is.
You can wash yourself, but if you
how you look to the NPC is kind of, and in that sense, I like that. My only problem with Kingdom Come Deliverance was just that it's such a narrow path that they gave you to go down, that if you couldn't get through that each like gauntlet of that path, you were stuck. And that's, I like what they're doing with Star Citizen, that it's more of, it's like a multi-spoked wheel that it's if you can't go down one path because it's too hard, there are other ways to go, right?
I think
And
Kingdom Come
think-
Deliverance has the same thing, but the prologue is just a little bit more linear in the way that you
I
just
couldn't
have
get
to
out of the
finish it
prologue.
first. Yeah,
I kept getting murdered.
but at least when you finish
So-
it, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want.
Right. Well, so the thing about Star Citizen and the ships, this, like you were saying, the complaint about starter ships, maybe people have this in their head that a starter ship means the Mustang Alpha or the Aurora MR.
that
And if
definitely
it's
is.
anything
that's
other
exactly
than that-
it. Yeah.
If it's anything other than that, if it's not $45, it's not a starter ship to them. So I don't know. Maybe they could have said that it was more of the, I don't know.
Well, like the chat said, a couple guys said entry level was it's probably a good
Yes, entry level mining ship is $165. Is that?
Yeah, something around there. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the Prospector.
The Prospector. I think that's reasonable. Entry level refueling ship, refueling, rearming, repair. I like that. I love the idea that a $185 ship can do 3 different roles. It's a jack of all trades, master of none kind of ship in that realm, right? So where the Starfarer will be way better at refueling because the Starfarer also doesn't have to go buy the fuel; it can make it. Where this little ship can't, right? Then the Reclaimer. See, a lot of people are saying that somebody said it was a baby Reclaimer. Is it? Does it have a? Does it have the capability of doing that kind of work, like
No.
going out there and
Salvage?
salvage?
They're just probably just talking about the look of the ship. I mean, if
Aesthetics.
you look at it from the side, it's just like a tiny little reclaimer. It's true.
Well, it
It's
also
Aegis.
is an Aegis. It's
Yeah.
an Aegis ship. Aegis. Anyways, it may, baby crew. No, it cannot salvage. Well, we haven't got the Q&A out yet, so we'll have to see. But we assume it can't salvage.
Maybe the drones can do it, but no.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe some I think that any ship can salvage based on the fact that if you find a derelict and there are functional modules still in that derelict, you can take them out, put them in your ship, and
Use
fly
your hand
away.
welder.
If you have some sort of
technically
cargo
is
space, sure.
salvage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So any ship can be, and then this one, I don't know. Could you put in like? You look at those drones. Don't those look exactly like the drones from the Reclaimer? So technically, could you put some Reclaimer drones in there? You have a tiny bit of cargo space. You could you potentially salvage in there.
Unless
look
there's
like
a
this
size
one.
limitation or something.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't have a lot of cargo space, so it wouldn't make a very good salvage ship. So.
That's where all the bananas went. I get it now.
What?
So, what do we think? What do we think about these aesthetics? Is that pretty cool? I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty. It looks chunky. Looks pretty heavy to me.
Oh, multi-role ships. Yeah, just make more of them. Why not?
Does it? Why does it remind me of something out of like fucking Avatar or something like that? The movie Avatar. Kind of, I think.
Yeah, it reminds me of something from
Just say that. Yeah, it's
Aliens. Again, I just see. It's a beautiful. It is a beautiful.
It's
ship.
pretty fucking cool.
because Avatar has
I
all
mean,
these
it's-
military style ships.
True.
And Aegis is a
Oh,
military
I think maybe
company, whatever.
when I think of Avatar, I think of the Cutlass Black with the side doors. I keep wanting to get a standing big frickin' gun that you can
Get
have.
some Gatlins up there, man.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Two
Some
people
door
standing in
gunners.
the doorways. Yeah, that would be awesome.
That should be a thing. You do strafing runs. And then the dudes with their cyclones could EMP your ass right out of the sky. And your freaking gunners could just fall to the death. Whoop. It'd be great.
No, now that
So
I
many
see that yellow
possibilities.
variant, you think this might be like some sort of
I like the gray one. I want the gray variant.
Because I mean, I remember all of those old Next Great Starship ships were supposed to be developed as well, not just the winner, but the other two as well. And I have a feeling those are just going to be, at one point, just going to be forgotten. And they're just going to be, like, maybe this is one of those ships. They just, like, rebranded it and made it completely different.
It's not, but I think that there is similarities to one of those older ships. But look at there
was an Aegis ship in the TNGS lineup, though.
Yeah.
They're all just so not Aegis-like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now that they've kind of started to take major strides into developing style guides for their different ship companies, most of the TNGS ships don't fit in anywhere.
Not anywhere, no.
I mean, look at the Terrapin, and the Terrapin is the base on which all Anvil larger ships are going to be based, right? The 30, they were talking about it, the 30-degree angles, like the interior of the Terrapin.
The hexagon kind of.
It reminds them of like, not the Death Star per se, but some sort of like Star Wars Imperial structure where the doors are all shaped
like that too.
A little bit.
Star Wars, it has a very Star Warsy feel to it. I could see it landing with a bunch of side doors and the stormtroopers jumping out as it lands. It has that feel to it.
So, unfortunately, as I have stated previously, I have made a commitment to myself that 2018 garners no further funding for Star Citizen from myself. So I was not able to buy one because I was ready to buy one, and then I had to talk myself off the ledge because it's pretty fucking cool. It's pretty cool, but I really.
Bullshit.
And then I thought, you know what? I'll melt something, and then I thought, you can't buy War Bond unless it's cash. God damn you, CIG.
Well, that's the point.
The 22nd is coming up. You can buy, and it'll probably be $200 is what my guess is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna buy and melt until the sale is over, so that I have enough to unmelt for viewers and giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be a pretty nice ship for a giveaway for sure.
Right.
But and then on to that, Miami Bat says Terrapin plus me equals drool, and that is another part of that conversation that people were tripping because the Terrapin's getting fleshed out before the Carrack, and I know that the Carrack owners are like on a big rant right now because they said no plans to develop the Carrack this year, and that is the point, right? Currently, today. Where does the Carrack fit into our current build of Star Citizen Alpha 3 dot something or Squadron 42? It doesn't, does it?
No.
So,
and the thing is, also, if you look at the 890 jump owners freaking out because the 600i is coming out before the 890 jump, I'm like, they had to develop a smaller ship they could develop all these the technologies and the shape language and all of that so that when they go to build this massive ship, the 890 jump is a massive ship. When they go to build it, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. But they had to have like, okay, we're going to go with this. It's also easy. It's less expensive than the 890 jump. So more people will have one. I mean, it's just, to me, it made sense. They got to develop the smaller ships. Also, if you look at the Pioneer for Consolidated Outlands, right? It's huge. My guess is there will be another Consolidated Outlands ship smaller than the Pioneer that's going to come out, that's going to be built before the Pioneer because they need to develop those assets to eventually build the Pioneer. Now, does that mean a bunch of Pioneer owners are going to lose their shit because somebody's like not giving them their? I've been waiting for 3 years. Damn it! It's like no. They've got to develop these medium-sized, these middle middle of the pipeline ships in order to flesh out what the pipeline looks like, what the shape language is, what the assets are going to be like. And it's easier to do that on a smaller scale. You can get lost in the weeds if you try to start out at the big ship. And I think that CIG found that out when they were doing the Bengal, right? They started off with the biggest ship in the game. Well, other than the Retribution. But that's probably where they realized, oh, geez, we don't necessarily want to do that again. We don't want to have, because they have a lot of big ships in the game. And I think what they're looking at is we need to develop the pipeline, the shape language, what an Anvil ship looks like versus what a Aegis, what an RSI ship looks like versus, and all of that. And you need to be able to look at it and go, oh yeah, that's, Anvil, or yeah, and then at the same time, they've got to have an entire asset library available to them to be able to put this together. Have you seen people complaining about the fact that the Hammerhead is going together so fast? Like it's coming out.
I actually have. Yeah. Well, actually, I see everybody complaining about everything.
Well, that's
so that's kind of a given, but it really
doesn't. For the course,
it doesn't steal from the validity of the argument that like let's just use Banu Merchantman owners for an example, that they purchased this a relatively expensive ship. How many years ago? Many years ago. And they're still waiting. And God bless you for being patient, because like we were saying just a few minutes ago, if it doesn't fit into the current development of 3.x or Squadron 42, it has to wait. It logically has to wait. There's no other way for them to build it. They really need to get fucking Squadron 42 done. They really need to do that. And it looked pretty good in the holiday live stream, but it wasn't done, obviously. But that's a big milestone for this project and for Star Citizen, the MMO. If they hammer out Squadron 42 and it's a great game and good and fun to play, then that just means, unfortunately, more money to do more concept ships to put off more of the shit that you've been waiting for 5 years. It's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle. But it also makes sense if you think about what they're doing, and you look at the ships and you look at the roles. The Carrack's role is not, there's no role for the Carrack. I mean, at least with the Starfarer, even though we don't have the game mechanic in yet, there's totally a role for the Starfarer, even right now. Oh my God, there goes Pegasus with all them My Little Ponies.
Oh my God. My speculation is that you see the Carrack and the second system and the third and fourth systems come online kind of all at the same time with the implementation of jump points. That's my speculation, because that's its purpose.
Exactly. When the jump points are in, the Carrack will have its purpose, its reason. The Carrack was designed to map jump points. That's what all those antennas are on the outside. It's what's all spiky and porcupine-y looking. And it's because it's supposed to map the inside of a jump point. And, I think they've said that jump points are going to fluctuate constantly, and they're going to need to be remapped all the time. That's going to be the job of Carrack owners, is remapping these jump points. As they begin to destabilize, you're going to have to go and remap them to make sure that they know all of the eddies and flows of the, whatever, the inside of the wormhole is. And that's something that I think a lot of people, when they have these dreams of being the person who discovers a brand new wormhole, but what do you want to bet that the first person to discover a brand new wormhole when the game is live is going to be an Endeavor owner with that big old telescope on it?
Yeah, if I see that ship taking considerable amount of time to complete.
Yeah, I do too. But I think that ship and the Carrack and all the ships that they have in the pipeline will be ready to go when the game goes live. That's kind of currently, because they'll need it.
Oh. He's got a bottle of wine. Look out. Shit's about to get real. But before we go to break, you can see the gameplay implications of just what you said. The Endeavor is out there with its giant radio scope or whatever the hell it is. It's radar, whatever. And it sees an anomaly, and a carrot goes to investigate that anomaly, and they find a jump point together to an undiscovered system or a relocated jump point or what have you. So it's got good long-term gameplay implications. It's just time. And I could tell you, I'm like, I want it to be done just like everybody else does, honestly, because every other game kind of just sucks.
Yeah.
Are you going to say something? Or are you just going to sit down there and fuck with your camera and make ponies and smile like you're an asshole?
Makes ponies. Okay, yeah, it's music break time anyway. Let's go. Questions can be submitted with the Q in brackets or question in brackets format, followed by the question. What does that face mean? What is it?
I don't know.
Okay. We'll be back later.
Oh my God.
This is just dumb. Hello, welcome back to the Stars and Base Roundtable here on TheBase Radio.
Hello,
thank you,
Rellim.
Liam, for linking that stuff. Yeah, that's where you find Uber Nerd. Great guest.
Yes.
So what were we talking about? Oh wait, this is the third block. This is Assault block.
Well, we were talking about the Twitch terms of service, but I don't know if we're supposed to talk about that live because we might get in trouble. I don't even know anymore. What is okay to say and not okay to say anymore? I mean, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with the world?
I don't know.
Motherfuckers can't take a joke. Just can't take a joke. Oh, you hurt my feelings. I'm gonna melt.
Complained.
Yep.
You're gonna get banned.
The plane, boss, the plane. Oh, tattoo. Don't bother me anymore. I am talking like a vampire for a reason. These fantasy island.
More like a Russian vampire. Then.
Ricardo Macalban was fucking epic, dude.
Yes, and so was Tattoo. I mean, come on, it was awesome.
Humans.
Fantasy Island. That was my late night go-to when I was coming home from the bar. Like, oh my God, what should I watch? Ding, 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 the Love Boat. All right. That's
my God, for real. Holy shit. That's old school. These two young kids don't have any idea what the fuck we're talking about.
It's good
great.
stuff, though.
It was when TV was completely different.
You're eating munchies, you're eating a bowl of cereal after you come home from the bar. What's that?
It's probably American.
It was before television got really political and politically correct.
It was before the internet. There was no internet.
It was before the internet. True. It was like at the very onset of, or just before the onset of mass cable television.
Right. So this was
right
back in
that
the late 70s.
Late 70s, early 80s. Sure.
I wasn't getting drunk at that time, but at the time that I was at the end of the 80s, there was still that kind of thing, still no internet. And I just remember coming home from the bar after my 21st birthday or something, my first year of actually being able to go out and drink and turning on the television at late night TV and watching The Love Boat, eating a bowl of cereal, watching The Love Boat. And then after that, Fantasy Island. So.
Yeah, and that was late night television at that time too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Those were all reruns. It was all on, God, what was that? TNT, I think. You remember TNT?
TNT's still a thing.
Is it?
Yeah. Not everybody watches Netflix. Or whatever plug in your USB device to Google TV or Apple TV or Amazon Fire TV or whatever the hell all that shit is.
An Apple device. Ever.
Good job.
Well, what's funny about that is people trip out about corporatism and all this stuff, and corporations are evil and shit, while
They
they're
buy
tweeting
stuff,
how much they hate corporations on the fucking Apple iPhone. The
I don't
largest,
think they understand irony.
It's funny. It's so funny. It's just
Isn't
so
that what's
funny.
in my cereal? They say
Corporatism.
Yes, irony. Yeah. Oh, irony.
irony and vitamins.
Irony and vitamins. Oh Lord. Anyways, sorry. We're not supposed to talk about that on this
No,
station
we're
either.
supposed to talk about the salt that is generated by, and we know that those salt creatures from the first Star Trek. They are in charge. They're truly the ones in charge of CIG. That's the reason for all the things that they do that create all the salt.
Salt creatures.
Yeah, they eat salt. They consume salt.
Well, from what series is that?
The first Star Trek series.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Like from the 70s?
No wonder I don't know
60s.
them.
The late 60s?
Yeah, there you go, right there. See?
What
Check
the
it out.
fuck's that?
Yeah, that's the salt-eating creature.
It's like one of
So
those
this is the
toilet
ones that
plungers
are
for
in
his
charge.
face.
These are the ones that are in charge of CIG. These are the ones that are in charge of CIG, and it's the only explanation for how they can continue
Dude,
to
that
make
is-
so much.
That is some sick ass
With
design,
guts.
though.
Right?
Like, who would make
Pretty
that
cool.
out? Just,
It
Terrifying.
reminds me of the Morlocks from the Time Machine.
yeah, somewhat, yeah. Except for the mouth.
Well, either that or
I was
know
going to
I've
say
seen
something
this
completely sexually inappropriate right now, but I think that might be a violation of Twitch terms of service. Because that would hurt. If you know what I'm talking about, that would hurt.
Oh
right
my god! I was gonna say it reminds me of one of those activists from the Twitters.
The Twitters.
there. Yeah, well, that might be an Antifa activist right there. Anyways,
So let's start talking about the what has caused what doesn't cause salt with the Star Citizen community. I mean, seriously,
Every change that
they
possibly happens.
call the Vulcan a starter for these jobs, a starter ship for these jobs, salt.
No, we
how could
handle
it be
that.
a starter ship at $180 some? Blah blah blah. Well,
It's a
just-
misunderstanding.
everything.
It was just like, yeah, it's an entry level, done. It's not
Is
starter.
it that maybe that CIG needs to start handling everything as it's going to be offensive? Maybe CIG needs to look at everything as, okay, who are we going to offend with this? And then reword it in some sort of politically correct bullshit snowflake.
Oh
When
my
will
god,
it
no!
ever
That's
be
impossible.
happy?
I like
no way
I like
someone-
the salt. I mean, I survive off of the salt. It's how I make all my bacon.
Oh, yeah.
Bacon's good.
That's right. But
Honestly, I haven't had any salt because I took somebody's advice and I don't look at Spectrum. I don't look at Reddit. I don't look at Discord anymore. I surround myself with some positive people lately because, like, the last, I don't know, like, month or so, I've really wanted to, like, literally reach through the internet and crush your fucking larynx. Just. And,
Wait, what, mine?
yeah. No, just in general, people who are stupid and don't think before they get on the Star Citizen Speakeasy Facebook or Ready Player One Facebook and start typing all this ridiculous nonsense about shit you know nothing about. Anyway,
a salt mining ship. That's what we need in Star Citizen.
it'll be a fucking thing, too. You heard it, guys. Get on it. That needs to be like one of our first mining vessels. You know what? The Prospector. That's one of the first minerals that we should be able to mine in Star Citizen is salt on Yella. Yella, it could be a salt planet.
Hmm.
Well, it could be that all the water is, frozen salt water. There you are, right? That you can mine you can melt the water and take all the minerals out of it. Not just salt,
What?
but other minerals as well, like deuterium and gold.
What about you, Pegasus? What are you salty about?
Nothing.
No, you're a happy young guy.
He's like happy in his little
I'm
cave.
happy. Yeah. Yep.
Did you finally move?
Yeah, I did.
Are you like in the big city now?
No, I'm same.
You're still
same.
still out in the stick.
Same. Exactly. Yeah.
He lives in this like fucking middle of nowhere French outcast town where they exile all the IT people, and they have fucking gigabit fiber in Nowhereville. They have gigabit fiber, and I'm like in a major metropolis area, and we have fiber on the pole, but it costs $2,500 to get the hookup for fiber to the house, and then $300 a month.
Well, that's a whole different story in America. That the whole provider companies have pretty much monetized the whole country. It's not funny anymore. It's not like that here, luckily.
Yeah.
Well,
As far as
in some
Go ahead.
areas, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
In some areas,
Just gotta
you
get
have
lucky.
multiple providers. Like I'm in the sticks. I've said before, I'm on an island out in the middle of nowhere, very close to the Canadian border in the ocean, and we have 4 internet providers here. Oh, and that doesn't include satellite internet. So we actually have 6 internet providers here, and the prices are pretty reasonable, you know. And I mean, it's not like, I mean, I think the maximum we get here is right now is 200 megs down, 200 down, 200 up, and that's with the fiber. But it's not in my neighborhood yet. I have cable 200 down and 20 up, but that's I'm paying. God, what am I paying?
Yeah, but you're like Washington.
70 something a month. What?
You're in Washington, you said, right?
Yeah. So
I don't know. That's like, yeah, okay.
I mean,
Just so people know.
there are states where you have to look at your state regulators and say, hey, ease up, man. Like our state regulators eased up on how many, like they forced towns to say, okay, allow other ISPs to come on in. And that created a whole bunch of competition. And now like everybody's signing up for the internet, the interwebs, because it's getting cheaper and faster.
Well, I wonder, like in Europe, is the internet technically considered a utility yet, or is it still provided by independent companies?
it's still provided by independent companies. I mean, at least in France. But one difference we have between France and you guys is that, like, we have like kind of all the companies are almost the same price. There's difference and different services sometimes. But that you get fiber or that you get ADSL like I have now because I moved.
have ADSL
it's the
now?
same price. Yeah, I switched from fiber to ADSL.
I was going to
It's
say
very hard deal.
9.1 megabits per second is not. I get what is it, 16 to 18 megabytes per second.
Yeah.
So that's around 200 megabits per second.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. What the point I was making is that we pay the same like for fiber or for like gigabit internet or for ADSL. It's just the providers are just making us pay the internet, and then you have the best you can get.
Oh, that sucks.
Well,
so
that sucks.
it's
where
really
you
a
live.
roll of the dice then.
Yes,
it's like, oh crap! I moved to the DSL neighborhood. I don't want to live here. Come on, let me go over there.
Yeah, that's pretty savage when you have to choose your location of residence based on the speed of your internet, dude. That's another thing to take into consideration. Okay, what are the schools like? What is the crime like? What is the internet like? What the
That's the
fuck?
first thing to look at.
Is how fast the internet is. That's why I haven't
get
moved out of
fiber
where I'm
there?
at. It's pretty good.
I have 3 choices where I'm at, and I have the fastest speed at the moment, and so I'm very happy about that. So it's like $70 a month. It's not bad.
That's not bad. Do you have cable television and
No.
phone wrapped up in that, or just the
No,
internet?
just the internet.
Yeah, there you go.
It'd be with the TV and the phone. It's like $100.
Like $150.
No, $115 a month. That's for the basic set of channels, right? If you want the whole kit and caboodle, it's $180. But then you get Showtime and HBO and all that other crap.
Yeah, but cable gives you so many channels that there's no possibility that you'd ever watch them all in one lifetime. So what's the fucking point?
Exactly. I have no desire to have that. I would rather pay $10 a month for Netflix and $10 a month for Hulu and choose between the two rather than and you know, oh, that one has some shows that I like. That one has some shows that I like. I like the fact that Netflix is putting together their own shows, which is cool. I don't know. I think that's the future, is more of an a la carte for people. But here we got off. There's not a lot of salt out there in Star Citizen, at least for me. The only thing I'm pissed about is I think they made the game. I think the behind the scenes 3.0.1 patch made the game worse, not better. So I've been having more crashes. Like from the moment they released 3.0 and then they fixed it over, you know, throughout the tail end of 2017. After they had fixed it, like the first week of 2018 until 3.0.1, it was awesome. I never crashed. I could go for 8-9 hours of playtime and not crash. Now, I'm lucky to get a couple hours out of it without crashing, at least.
Now, are you getting crashes where your game just apparently stops responding and it doesn't actually CTD? It just like kind of just stops.
Yep.
Same.
That's what So that's what I'm a little salty about. It's like, oh God, what the heck, you know? So, but other than that, you know, I think that they've been doing a really good job with getting this stuff out to us, trying to fix us. The only thing I'm really salty about is their lack of clear communication. So,
do you think that there's any validity in the argument that because the current play environment is so unstable that the consistent flow of concept ship sales is kind of off-putting to the community, that they're consistently asking for more money and they still don't have a stable play environment for testers?
No, I mean, I look at I think that there's a need beyond just the need for keeping an income coming in to support the company and the salaries and the rent and all that other stuff. In spite of, you know, other than just the need to support that, I feel that bringing in many new concept ships, as many as can be brought in per year, should be done. Because that variety will make the verse really, really feel very lived in, feel very organic. Not organic as in, look at all the trees and the birds and the whatever that animal is.
No, yeah, but if you only have 5 ships flying around constantly, it's going to seem
like
rather... Yeah. I get that part, but I think it's more like there's a perception that they just keep taking, you know, like cash grab bullshit, you know, and I've bitched about people bitching about cash grab crap for a long time. I get that they need the money and shit, but
yeah, I think that the problem is they're communicating better in some ways, but they're still screwing up majorly in other ways. Like, so for example, the playability, what's going on behind the scenes? They have told us, hey, we're updating behind the scenes the servers to try to fix things, but they tell us that weeks after they've already done it. You know what I'm saying? Where they should be up front and center. I mean, if you open up if you look at your launcher, you've got this patch notes right there, right? Read that. It's pathetic. The patch notes there's no information there. They could put like something there if they had to. Somebody could go click on that. Or here's another, comm links, Imperator, reverse the verse. But really, I want to see stuff that's in there, the comm links or the patch notes about what they're doing on the back end. Hey guys, we're going to do some things on the back end. If you have some issues, then put a link to the have a link right there in that on the launcher that takes you right to the issue council, maybe even to the thread. Say, hey, we just today did some work on the backend server. We adjusted the what do they call that server? The
AWS
backend services. So we just adjusted some things in the backend services. Tell us what you think. I think that would be better, but they kind of blindly do it. They don't tell us. It just happens. Things change. The game becomes unplayable. Like when it starts, you start getting, taken out of quantum interdiction, like every, 5 times between Port Olisar and Yella or something like that. They've toned that back, but there was a while there that everybody was like going, it happened back right when 3.0 went live. The interdictions were nuts, and then they toned that back to 0, right?
Right.
And then they dialed it up again here just after the 3.0.1 patch. And again, they're not talking to us about these things, right?
I didn't know about that, actually. Yeah.
And it's like, come on, guys. This is what people complain about. I think that if they were a constant communication with the everybody, and it says, com links or patch notes. Hey, just did it says, hey guys, just did an update on the backend server. They don't even have to go into any deep explanations. We hope that it'll fix these issues and put a little list there. Boom, simple, easy, and people can go, oh, well, that explains A, B, or C, or D, right? But I think that's where a lot of my salt is coming from, is that they don't communicate.
Here's a thought. Just a thought. I don't know if this is actual motivation or not, but is it possible that they feel like they already have you, right? You're already bought and paid for with your whatever the hell your account is in the, multiple digits now, as well as most of us in very high digits. So when they develop content like Around the Verse or Reverse the Verse, it's kind of directed more towards people who don't have that much buy-in, so that they can get them sucked into buying more of these fucking new ships that keep coming out.
Well,
and they don't provide the information that's important to you and that's important to me. They kind of layer it in a way that one thing that strikes me is every time that...
Isn't that what I said last week? Like, they still have to market people to buy ships, but at the same time, they have to make sure that people understand that it's donation-based pledges and, you're buying stuff for an alpha game, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of a little like same of two worlds you can't really put together in one single thing.
I don't know that I necessarily care about that aspect of it. I mean, I think they're pretty clear on the fact that, hey, this is a pledge for the development of a game. And I think that I think it was clear from the very beginning that you're pledging towards the development of the game. And I make that clear on my stream every day as well, that, hey, if you're putting money into this game, it's not like you're buying a finished game like those even exist anymore. Kingdom Come Deliverance, you know what I'm talking about, you bastards. Anyways, aside from that, you're not paying for a finished game, so don't expect it. I mean, when they release Squadron 42, it is my hope and my prayers are going out to whatever deities I might be able to, Thor, listen to me now. Anyways, that they do not do what they did with Mass Effect Andromeda, because that was an utter disgusting mess. And even when they patched it, if you ever watched the animations, the facial animations, even after the patches, it was just so awful. I mean, it really was. The acting was dry and stiff. The animations were horrible. It was like, really, this is a game that's come out and I mean, it's supposed to be. He's measuring the depth of the salt there.
He's getting an erection.
Oh my god,
depth of the salt.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god, it's like snow. It's coming down. Oh, holy crap! I'm buried now.
Yeah, it's very high.
We have to get to the question block anyway. I realized that just now.
Do we?
We do? Oh my God. See, that's your guys'
36. Holy
mistake.
crap.
Invite me on. I talk like, it's like, where's the off button? Quick, push it.
I have it right here.
Well,
That's why I don't produce the show, because we just drag it out for hours and hours and hours.
Then we just
And
gonna suddenly go to music.
Rellim don't like that.
But then after this, we will go to answer those questions. If you have some more questions, you can still ask those. I don't think we have that many anyway. So yeah, anything about what happened in Star Citizen, you can just ask Q in brackets followed by the question, or question in brackets followed by the question, whatever suits your need. It has multiple options, and it'll get submitted. Please.
Or don't. And Uber Nerd and I will just carry on for another
Oh sure.
undetermined
Do that
amount of
too.
time.
We'll be back. Stay tuned. Yeah, there we go. That's the right scene.
Yeah.
There we go. You've been warned. Listen to the base radio. Welcome back. We are in our last fourth block where why are you looking so confused?
I'm always confused. I'm old. Don't you know? That's a part of old age. You
Yeah.
little bastard.
going on?
You know,
Talking about me like that. Let me
you're
get
lucky
my
T.O.
ear high.
isn't here because he would have just, He's the same thing.
Old and confused?
Yeah. I'm tired.
I have my
and grumpy.
curmudgeon card.
Oh, he's grumpy.
I'm a curmudgeon for sure.
There's a fourth block.
Alright.
We will go through the questions and answer whatever we can.
We're
Wherever we
gonna
can.
knock these out really quick, because there's not that many.
Cause I'm so
'Cause
smart.
The chat was busy
SMRT,
conversing
smart.
amongst themselves and not really focused on what we were saying, which is fine. That's,
We're glad we could
that's
for fun.
we provide a platform for you guys
Right.
to have a conversation, and that's perfect, man. That's what community is all about. So Foxchart asked, can Steph Master pirate the next week too?
Pirate.
Yeah, like he encroached on our time
Yeah.
because he thought he was going to go for an extra hour.
Only if,
little bastard.
If Steph needs 2 hours, Steph should do 2 hours.
he
Earlier.
does, but he would have had we started an hour earlier. But if he wants to go over my time, then we're just going to invade into his show and do the roundtable during his show. Like we'll just
We'll jump in his team
jump in his
speak.
team speak. Hello, you now let's do the Stars in Base roundtable. Whatever. I don't know.
Steph don't mind. He's a good guy.
Dude, he's been a long way
do I-
from it. Wobbling over the
He
seas
was-
and whatever.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Well, for those of you that don't know, he's actually the captain of an emergency
Seaman.
rescue ship for oil derricks in the North Sea. So that's all he does. He gets on a boat and he just does
They
a patrol
patrol,
pattern
yeah.
around these oil derricks, waiting for something bad to happen. It's crazy. He shot some footage. He sent us some footage of the storms that he was in, and the fucking waves are like bigger than this fucking boat, and it's literally, a 60-degree downplane and shit. And you're like, oh my god, he's not gonna come home. What the fuck?
Well, try being a crab fisherman up in Alaska.
It's like the same. It's like if you've ever watched Deadliest Catch shit. It's like that for real.
I lived it
Oh well,
one season. Not of
that's all they got out of you.
No, not one season of Deadliest Catch, but one fishing season.
One fishing season, and you're like,
Hey.
I don't want to do that no more. That's
no,
crazy.
God no. I was so scared the whole time. I mean, firefighting has nothing on that. These waves are so big, you're sitting in there, especially in a storm, you're sitting there with the captain and you're looking like, are we going to die? You're looking at this wave that's probably 70, 80 feet tall coming right up. And you're like going, it's like, no, well, maybe.
This boat is designed to handle this, son. Just relax.
No, he said
All
that
right.
one time.
Don't go
no,
outside.
we're not going to. Well, maybe.
Well, as long as you have a grip on your mortality, death is not a big deal. All right. So Noir asks, if Star Citizen was set in the Star Wars universe, how much would the Millennium Falcon cost?
Well, that's actually
$350.
Small freighter, right?
Somebody actually did a comparison just recently with the Millennium Falcon next to
Connie.
Fuck, what was it? It was something like that. The Connie and the Carrack and the Millennium Falcon was in there, and it's really not. It's like 18 meters or something like that, or Wee Hamster can find it. He'll know. But yeah, it was smaller than I thought from watching the movies. But then when you think about the size of the actors next to the ship, it's actually pretty small.
Yeah, no, there's only a couple corridors and maybe like a couple rooms.
Is that the link there, buddy? From Reddit? Yep, there you go, next to the Freelancer. If that's accurate, then, Star Wars has got nothing on Chris Roberts.
Yeah.
And that means those side guns on the Freelancer should be able to destroy the Millennium Falcon, which was another interesting discussion about, the CIG developers were talking about that when the Millennium Falcon was running from Star Destroyers and getting hit, and how that would kind of translate into Star Citizen. And that's the kind of gameplay they want. They don't want the instant kill like that. They want them to be drug out a little bit.
I am so happy about them talking about that, announcing it, that time to kill is no longer a factor. It is now time to disable. And I like that. It's so much more important. I hope that they still get modular and nacelle type explosions. Like you hit one of the nacelles of the Connie and it, boom, beautiful explosion, but the ship doesn't get exploded. Nobody dies in that. It's just disabled, right?
Wouldn't that be the greatest pirate code of all time, to not actually kill the people, but just leave them stranded in space for them to fucking run out of oxygen and suffocate and die a painful, long-ass death?
Yeah, or
that would be great.
Yeah, it would be good that you're not ever killing them directly, and it might even preserve your reputation, right?
Right.
Because they're already talking about that people who murder will get a very bad reputation, even with bad people. Because in spite if you're a bloodthirsty sociopathic murderer, even bad people are going to go, jeez.
Right? Why would you do that?
Yeah, that's
you disable them and you let the next guys come in and board the ship and blah blah blah. Okay, right. So Foxchart, more opinions on Kingdom Come Deliverance, please. What is your opinion, Rellim?
Oh, me. Well, I haven't actually played it long. I've seen people that are much further into the storyline, though I'm not that far. Although I got past that prologue, whatever you want to call it. And once you get into once you get past that, you get into the free zone. You can pretty much do anything you want. But there's a couple of things that I just noticed first when I first started playing it. Is one. This is a game which is solely run on CryEngine 3, I think.
Yeah.
Which just shows you that like if Star Citizen would have kept with just CryEngine and not modified almost everything there is about the engine and lumberyard whatever, then they would have kept with this engine. It's it does limit. You can see how it limits some parts of the fidelity in the game, and it's just pretty basic.
AI pathfinding is horrible. We'll say that straight up. AIs walk into each other, they stop, they have to recalculate their path. So that's hopefully something we don't see in Star Citizen, in more intelligent AI that avoids the collision ahead of time instead of them walking into each other and then stopping and then recalculating and then moving around and stuff.
Well, we know horrible. That they're working on they're working on the AI pathing. It's extremely important for them to get it done right,
But for Kingdom Come, really, just though the story is pretty good, the gameplay is pretty okay too. It has this pretty realistic historical feeling of a medieval environment, and I just to before the show I went through this combat training with one of the trainers who thoroughly went through all sorts of different ways you can set your opponent off foot. It all has to do with all these things that I think actually apply in real life too, at least when you go and went to fencing or medieval sword fighting. It's pretty in depth that way.
Yeah, but the controls for combat at that level are clunky. They're really clunky.
Yeah, I don't.
I feel that they are.
I'm not a fan of. I had to get it refunded because it just.
And
too many bugs that kept me from being able to play it properly. So
another thing that I think needs some work is some graphical tweaking, some updating there, because the first thing I noticed too was that in the background you see these hills and you see these trees on top of the hills, but they're like very, very, very ugly LODs.
Right.
And anything in the foreground looks amazing. It's a pretty nicely made. Most of the foliage and the trees in the that are close by look really good. But as soon as you get into the distance, I guess they couldn't load too much of that at the same time. I don't know how it works, but
it gets better frames than Star Citizen.
Yeah, no, actually, well, if you wanted to, but Star Citizen looks way better that way. And you do start thinking of the way that Star Citizen, apart from the fact that all this multiplayer crap runs, make it run pretty bad in comparison, but the according to a part of the graphics itself from Star Citizen, if you're in an instance alone, you pretty much just run 60 frames per second, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Sure. Yep.
And it still looks amazing. The fidelity of every detail is there. And I think that shows that even like the Lumberyard version, whatever Star Citizen runs on, is actually way better optimized than anything else that is in this stage of an alpha.
Yeah.
These when you talk about graphics.
I think that we'll see the frame rate in Squadron 42 be way better than what they have in Kingdom Come Deliverance. I just think that we're going to see it be a far better.
Well, it's no joke. We've been saying it for a long time, and Star Citizen is truly next generation gaming. And if you want next generation gaming, it is fucking painful to get there.
Yep.
The technology that they're using doesn't exist.
So they have to create it.
So if you're going to make something from nothing, ask Elon Musk how difficult it is to launch a fucking rocket when we've been launching rockets for like 60 years.
Right.
70
and
years.
Everybody is like going, "Oh my God, what's the big deal?" Gosh, this is. I've heard this argument a lot of times about SpaceX. They're ripping us off. I mean, we've been launching rockets since the 50s. Elon Musk is saying that it's hard to do this. We've been doing it for 60 years. Come on, what's so hard, buddy? Let's see here. Landing a
how many have landed
tall rocket on its ass again and again? Huh? Come on.
Right. If you want to break the new ground, it's painful. And when I watched SpaceX from its infancy, I thought it was going to fail. I really did. When the first couple rockets exploded, exactly. And and he almost failed on multiple fronts. Most of his companies were on the border of bankruptcy. So how that relates to Star Citizen, is that if you want to break new ground, it's fucking painful to break new ground. It's hard to change the mold. So, and that's what they're doing. So, and just to hit on this, Cyberwolf74 asked, did they talk about Chris Roberts and his freaking sword? Did you guys see that in,
no,
was that in, it was like in like a reverse to verse cut. It was a clip where there was a transition between the discussion and the closing where Jared walked around the studio and fucking Chris has this like 5-foot fucking bastard sword walking around the studio saying, "This is how I'm going to get people motivated."
Really?
It's fucking great. Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
It was fucking good, man.
You can I gotta move to the next question. Oh, actually, one thing about Kingdom Come Deliverance though, I did make some screenshots, and the way that I did
it's
that
pretty.
was, but that's another thing though. If I looked at it and I was just like, this is probably because you're into Star Citizen so much. I just wanted to look as same like detailed fidelity as Star Citizen, at least close to it. So I did add a lot of reshade filters and Photoshop and you can actually use quite a lot of CryEngine commands to go past the default graphic settings, and even like something like what's it called, volumetric fog is disabled by default in Kingdom Come Deliverance, but it is working, as you can see there in the screenshots. I turned it on, and all this fog, this volumetric fog that the sun creates appears, making it look quite at least it hides some of the terrible LEDs in the background that way. So that's just what I tried to do there.
It's not a horrible looking game.
No.
I mean, it's really not. It looks. This is what I was saying earlier. When you start filtering games through the lens of Star Citizen, everything else sucks. It literally just sucks.
So that's why
it
I have
doesn't
to do
have
that.
the same atmosphere. It doesn't have the same, it doesn't strike you as, oh my God, look at this. This is fucking crazy.
Right.
And Star Citizen does. So, it's a blessing and a curse because I can't play other games with wholeheartedly. Like, I used to be big into WoW, and I thought, wow, World of Warcraft, holy shit, this is crazy cool, man. And then you look at it now and you're like, it looks like a fucking cartoon.
It looked like, so for me, I always had a problem with WoW, that it was really too cartoonish for me. And I was always trying to find those games that were more realistic. And I bet you anything that if I had had something closer to, Deliverance
back then,
I probably would have just kept at it. But I don't know. I mean, the realism is great. That's why I loved Black Desert Online. I played it for longer than I probably should have, just because it was very pretty. Not as not as realistically pretty as Kingdom Come Deliverances, but it was pretty. It was just not very big maps. My problem with Black Desert Online is just too much of an on rails theme park, and I think I'm tired of theme parks.
Well, that's where Star Citizen comes in with the whole sandbox thing. So it's going to work for some and not work for others. But moving on, the next question is from Ketchup Ninja. All right, this is kind of long, so I'll try to read it coherently. Do you think it's fair to offer all the extra perks to concierge and not the rest of the backers? That's the first part of the question. So let's hit on that. Do you think it's fair to offer all the extra perks to concierge and not the rest of the backers?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yes. I mean, if you put in $45 and someone else puts in $15,000, you can give the guy who backed the sum total of what would that be? 1,000 people?
Most of it is useless crap anyway. It's just pretty.
It's the gold armor, dude. Yeah. Isn't that big of a fucking deal? I have it. It's really
gold
not.
Armor is kind of like whatever.
Now the Hurricane or the F8 Lightning, is it the F8 Lightning, right?
Yeah. That's gonna be.
It's cool. Kind of a big fucking deal.
Oh, you get that too.
I mean, I get that too. Yes. But anybody who completes Star Citizen Squadron 42 gets the opportunity to purchase it in-game with in-game currency, so it's irrelevant, right? You might have to work for a month or 2 months or whatever to get the F8 Lightning, but, I've been sitting here thinking about it. I got so many ships. What am I going to do? I actually might melt a lot of shit and kind of start a little smaller, because what am I going to do with my time in Star Citizen if I have all of this stuff, if there's no actual grind to get to a thing, this is a dilemma.
What I'm hoping is it's more about the journey itself and not so much about the grind to get to the next level of ship. That's kind of my vision of it is that there's going to be a lot more to it than previous. It's going to be more about the actual universe itself, what's going on in the universe, the events that are happening. And it may be that, okay, now I want to use this ship because this event is happening. Oh, but now Operation Pitchfork's happening. We got to go and join that. We need our military ships. Everybody jump into my Hammerhead. We're gonna go out there and blow some stuff up.
Okay, so the second part of the question isn't really a question. It's more of a statement, but I'm going to turn it into a Q&A. And I guess it's a question in a sense. How do you think it makes backers who love the game but may not have the extra funds? First off, there's a flaw in your statement, and that is feel. I don't give a fuck how you feel. I'll tell you that straight up. The world doesn't care how you fucking feel. Now, with that being said,
make yourselves useful.
I would say you are as important to the fucking development of this game as any other backer, even the people who put in hundreds of thousands of dollars. It isn't the dollar amount that makes you important. You being here
actually,
is
you
what
can be
makes
like
you important.
You can be like
It's
a
your
$40 you can be like a $40 backer and be an avocado.
A person who just has a starter pack, but is a dedicated Star Citizen, plays always in the community, always talking to other people about Star Citizen. That person is just as important as the person who has spent $4,500 on ships backing the game, because the guy who is extraordinarily dedicated can't afford to do anything other than talk about the game. Maybe they have 25 other people that they sign. That's why they have the referral program, for God's sakes, because you don't have to spend all that kind of money. If you refer people, you end up getting. You can get what I think you still can get a. You can still get a javelin if you refer enough people. 20. What is it?
That's like a lot of fucking people.
2015 people. If you can convince 2015 people to use your referral code and buy is it 2015 or 2017? Anyways, no, it's 2042. I think that's what it is, right? Anyways, if you can convince that many people to buy the game for $45 or whatever, hey, you get a javelin. So it's not just the people who like Juntao or myself or anybody else who spent more than $1,000. It's not just us. I mean, we're getting perks as well, right? Just in a different way. The referral guy who only spent $45 but gets a crap ton of referrals is going to get another set of perks that we won't get unless we get those referrals, right? So I think that it's fine. I think that it doesn't really matter. I think that people who put in a crap ton of money into this game should get perks that nobody else gets. And I think they're not doing enough, in my opinion. The guy who spent $15,000 and is happy about it should get a perk that nobody else gets. The guy who spent $5,000 and is happy about it should get a perk that nobody who didn't spend that gets, right? Why not? Why not? I mean, I think that's the right thing to do for the people who are so dedicated that they're willing to put in that amount of money to back the game. And
absolutely.
I don't think that anybody, and that's why I think that, again, I'll reiterate, the referral program, that's why they put it there, because they wanted to say there is another way for you who can't afford to spend more than $45. There's another way for you to get perks. You just have to convince other people to get into the game. There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to read this really quick because it's not it says one question, but it's not really a question. In a sense it is, but it's more of a statement. Do we want a $20 million game or a $200 million game? Because Jackassery says, I don't begrudge anyone getting perks for spending a lot of money. Please, CIG, encourage the people who have money to spend the money. And this is what it all comes down to, right? Like I said, my account is artificially inflated because the Base Radio has sent me a bunch of money so I could buy ships to give away on this station. So, but it's at about 15,000, and I can't say how much it is because my wife might be like watching, but the considerable amount came out of my pocket, right? So, well, she doesn't know the difference between what you gave and what I gave, so we're just going to keep that under the table. But still, it doesn't fucking mean anything other than the fact that
anything.
Right. I believe they need the money to make the game that I have been waiting for. And if it encourages someone to spend an extra $250 to buy a ship to get them to the next threshold so that they can get a golden set of armor, then it's worth it, right? It didn't cost CIG anything.
No.
So, anyways, I hope that offended you and answered your question all in the same breath.
That's
yes. And then I love this name, From Nut in Special. Nut and Special.
Not special.
Should there be ID tags attached to players, or should they remain anonymous?
Anonymous.
Does he mean in the persistent universe?
Yes.
I think that your players, you should be able to, your team, you should be able to identify your team. The technology exists in today's military that when they are doing operations, they know where their teammates are. They know who not to shoot.
But if you're walking down the street in civvies and you're
Right.
walking down in the middle of in the middle of area 18 or some other city in the verse,
Yeah.
you shouldn't just be able to look at people. Like in all these other games,
Yeah,
there
the
are
tech, you can't see who they
names
are.
floating over people's heads, right? That should not
Right.
exist.
I
Like
agree.
what we see right now, other than I totally agree, if somebody is in your team, then there should be some sort of IFF in our suits that helps us to be able to.
Or in your ship. Yeah.
Well, there already is in the ship. If you're in the ship and you target another ship, you can see the person's name, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, as far as radar and all of that stuff goes, that you should be able to identify your friendlies, kind of like Star Marine was.
Sure. Yes.
Till the radar was broken.
Oh, you mean
know,
radar in the
just-
suits?
Well, and in the ships, you should be able to always know where your friends are. And I would think that because technology is going to be so far advanced in 2950, whatever the hell the year is, that if I looked at Daymar and you were on Daymar, but I was somewhere out in deep space, I could see that you are on Daymar. Because the ship's technology should allow me to know that. Just saying, something of that nature, so you know where your people of your group are. Organization, shit like that. But I don't know. Just my...
Yeah, I like the having no way of knowing who is walking in a crowd. If you look at a crowd of people walking around, I would like it maybe if you could get hacks or could buy hacks that you could install in your Mobiglass. That if you look at your Mobiglass, you could see names of people over that.
Oh,
but
the
I'd like
AR.
it also, yeah. But I'd like some sort of augmented reality. But I'd also like that to be illegal. So that if you get caught with it, you can get in trouble with the local authorities or something like that. So I'd love to see that kind of back and forth to be able to find people, tracking, right? Because if you're a bounty hunter, you will want
You're
to
going to have
track
that, right?
people. Yeah.
Because
But
you're
I
not
want
going to know what Tony the target, you're not going to know what he looks like, right? Well, maybe you'll know what he looks like, but how do you
so
identify him?
How do you do that? Well, where did he last buy something? Right, so you can track his track his purchases, right? Oh, he was last seen on Hurston purchasing weapons at the local weapons market, right?
Yeah, but let's take that a step further, right? Let's say you know that Tony the target was on Hurston at the weapons market, and you go to Hurston and you're looking through this crowd of people. How do you identify him without having the game put an artificial little cursor over his head that says, this is your target? Because I hate that.
Yeah,
I
I
like
don't
your
want
idea.
them-
If you pull up the AR in your Mobiglass and you like scan the crowd, and then the augmented reality, either in your glasses or something of that nature, says, scan this target, scan that target. This is your guy. Then you
Right.
know who you're looking for.
Yeah,
Some James Bond shit going on there.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that capability, and I'd also like to see it in some areas be illegal software. That would identify people, right? Like
If you
so
were on
I-
Terra, they would
Yeah.
crush your ass.
Yep.
I agree.
What?
Watchdog Citizens, they said in the chat.
Oh, we
And
know
I think you
hacking
could
is a
take
thing already.
aspects. Yeah, you could take aspects of some of these games, that are out there, and
Turkey noise.
if they're cool, if they're cool, then why not
incorporate some of the style of gameplay, like the hacking? What is that game where the guys? Do you know that one where he's got the phone and you're a hacker and stuff like that?
It's Watch Dogs, isn't it?
Watch Dogs. Yeah. So
Yeah.
aspects of that, but in using the Moby Glass and using that kind of stuff, I'd love to see that. And some, getting more detailed, getting more into the hacking. A lot of people, we don't want it too hard. Oh no, I want it really hard. I want, yes, there to be some softer targets that are not so hard. But I want it to be like, if you go after a military target, you have to be extraordinarily skilled at these puzzles to figure out, yes, it is going to be a puzzle, but I want it to be hard. I want it to be so hard because they said, and they've tried to make this clear, that this is going to be your skilled game. Not you don't have a 30th level hacker. You don't have a 30th level pilot. You are what your skills are for your character, and that's,
or based on the equipment that you carry too. It should be based on that as
should
well.
Help. They should be.
Yeah.
The equipment should definitely help. But your skill,
Sell it on
I
the
don't
Voyager
care.
Direct store.
If you suck as a pilot, if you are a horrible dogfighter, I don't care if you're in the best dogfighter and I'm in an Aurora, I'm going to kick your butt, right?
Sure.
But if you're an amazing dogfighter in an Aurora, you're going to wipe the floor with a person in a Super Hornet, So it's not always about the tools. It's also about the skill of the person. And that's what I want to see with medicine, with the lock picking, with hacking, with all that stuff. So.
All right, we're already
we
15
done?
minutes over, but the last question is there a future for role playing in Star Citizen? Unfortunately, yes.
Well,
there
yeah,
is,
but the problem is then that I don't see any of those, the private servers happening. So if the RPs would want to play Star Citizen, they would still have to mingle with the regular players. And
Well,
how do you
they
do
would,
that?
and
Here is the reason
do it.
why role playing in Star Citizen is not a problem. It's the frickin' future. It's not like you're having to go,
Yeah, sure.
milady, come have a seat and blah, blah, blah. Who cares, man? It's the future. You can talk any way you want. You can speak Chinese. You can speak,
Xeon.
Japanese. You can speak Russian. You can speak Xi'an if you learn it. You can speak Klingon, for God's sakes, if you want
God
to.
forbid we go into a club and somebody's speaking John, and we're like, dude, what the fuck? Because that's my role play right there over voice comms.
You're becoming
literally,
fucking role
dude,
players.
what the fuck?
The fuck?
Well, technically, everybody's role playing because right now you are role playing. You're role playing you, and you, and you, and
not
you.
role.
So,
What
well,
are you?
it is though.
What is this? The sound of music? And you, and you, and you.
Yes, but it's true. Everybody's different, so everybody's gonna act like themselves. So technically, that would be
Belter.
role playing and create diversity in the verse, right?
Well, that's why I'm saying is that it's because it's a futuristic space game, because the language that we use is going to be based around all the equipment that we have, all of the tools that we're using, all of that kind of stuff. Role playing is really just going to be secondary. Oh, hey, excuse me, I got to go to the toilet. It's because you got to go to the toilet. I mean, you're not going to say, pardon me, my lady, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to have old English style talk. You don't have to, it's not fantasy. Even science fiction that's based on a reality that we're at right now, but 900 years in the future still can use common vernacular we use now, common words, common phraseology, you don't have to worry about that. So role playing is going to be very simpler, in this kind of game versus one that includes magic and
Oh yeah. And I would think that it applies if you're in a militaristic style organization. They're going to want you to use militaristic style communication techniques and things of that nature. And if you're with pirates, if you want to role play with your friends as pirates and you want to say "arg," then more power to you. But we're still going to fucking kill you.
I know. And then, of course, you'll have that guy going, all right, so we're going to go in, we're going to be attacking this, and you'll hear this guy in the distance, Leroy Jenkins!
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Ah, damn it, Leroy! How did he get in here? Did anybody let that guy in? So, yes, role-playing
What?
is going to happen, totally.
When he starts breathing like that, it means something.
We'll make our own version of Belter in Star Citizen. Just a player-made language. Aside all of this crap, the Xeon, this high standard languages. We just sophisticated, man. We just need something dirty.
Sure. Just, some sort of slang. And it'll be a thing. Think about this. Community's crazy, man. There's tons of people that are... Oop, mom's calling. Tons of people that are like way into the Star Citizen thing in general. And they're making armors and guns and... dressing up like pirates and all kinds of shit. So there will more than likely be little sects of groups of people that are doing their own thing, kind of like what Rellim was saying, just like the Belters, they have their own thing. It might be 50 people. It might be 5,000. Who knows? If you want role playing, you should start an org for role playing people and say, you have to talk like this, and then write a whole urban dictionary just for Star Citizen.
Well, we're probably going to get there's probably going to be an instance where you will need somebody who can speak Xi'an. Because, what happens if you get to a location and the translators are broken, or if your equipment is screwed up, or an EMP happened and it doesn't work, and the Xi'an doesn't speak English, and you're like, oh, crap. You don't know what they're saying. Because they did say that that's also going to be one of those things that they try to do, is make it so that you're not always going to have a translator that will translate what the Xi'an is saying, and the machine translators, the computers, will get it wrong from time to time. So I like that.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be awesome.
When you're like, your little decoder is going to misinterpret what this guy is saying to you, and you're going to respond in a way that's offensive.
Yes, and you're going to tick them off. And at that point, it's going to be really cool if you did have somebody who understood the language. A lot of people are learning it. I'm learning a little. I'm slower than most, but who are nerdy enough to learn it. But role-playing is going to be forced in a sense that there will be roles for you to play, mechanic, refueling, all that kind of stuff. And because it's future, you don't need to force the language. So, anyways,
you see, even Weamster's posting all of the links. Like he's hinting us.
It's time to go.
I know, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
He's a Weamster.
That?
Yeah,
that's the alarm.
It's the alarm to go now. But that's the thing with Star Citizen. When you get in a good conversation with a good intelligible conversation about Star Citizen, especially when it's positive, you kind of drags out a little bit. So I'm good with that.
Wish we had more
good
of that.
Conversation, good information, good theory crafting. Theory crafting is fun.
Oh yeah.
What's fun is the base radio community is like really cool. And because I follow the chat obviously, and these guys are pretty into it and pretty smart, and they can take it and dish it out, and they have good ideas and stuff. So I like this place. This is like the only place, honestly. Fuck all those other streamers like
Uber
so
Nerd, go join our Discord.
Whatever.
Will,
where are you at? Where can you be found?
Bitch.
Oh, he leaked your shit. Twitch.
Yeah, right there.
Uber nerd. Uber _nerd.
That's
and
right.
Nerdist Extreme is your Twitter?
Yes.
And you stream fucking butt crack at dawn early in the Pacific time zone?
That's right. 4 a.m. Pacific. That's mid-afternoon for those of you in the UK. So, and then I start at about 9 a.m. in the morning, Saturday and Sunday. So,
what the fuck does he mean I'm getting soft? What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean?
Shouldn't have said that. This is going to go off again.
I will. I'm dragging this bitch out for another 15
I'll just talk to him in
minutes.
private or something. He's got to go really get a room or something. Yeah, so that was the show. That was the show. That was the show.
That's Dutch comedy
It's
right
done.
there.
And you can find us, The Base Radio, at TheBase.sc, twitter.com/TheBase Radio, twitch.tv/TheBase Radio. See how we're almost the same everywhere right now? Discord at TheBase, discord.thebase.sc, whatever. You can even find a link right there, down there in the description of the Twitch page.
It doesn't even work. Oh, there it worked.
Yeah, it works.
Wow, that took a long
What are you
time.
talking
That bot-
Anyway, I guess we'll be around next week. Another Stars and Base Roundtable, whatever we'll be doing, we'll see. Thank you for watching, listening, wherever you were, however you were. Thank you for the questions that you submitted. And you'll see you again next week. What?
Wait. Here's a good one. If you think that you are intelligent enough to have a conversation with me, reach out to Eden Star on Twitter and tell her you would like to be a guest on this fucking show, and I will treat you equally like shit. Won't that be fun, kids?
Fun.
And then you can tell me I'm a dick to my face.
He's such a smart fella. Or is
He's a
smart
fucking,
fella?
he's a jackass.
Thank you, Uberner, for being here. And that was great.
My pleasure.
And that's it then. See you, everybody. Until next week. Goodbye. Such a thing. What you ding? What's a Sion for? Astlikal.
What? That's like Norwegian. That sounds like German to me.
I support the monkeys. Do you? Check out The Base. 24/7 online radio. Oh, yeah! Visit us at TheBase.sc. They're professionals.